I'll just give you this from a mindset, just one quick story. So I told you I was on a plane all the time, and this is kind of a popular story, but I've lived it, where we were in some crazy turbulence in a very small airplane one time, and it was unbelievable. You're worried about hitting the ceiling, you're worried that the plane is going to go down. So you got people grasping the chair and almost crying, and you hear some little kid was in the 2 seats behind going, wee, wee, having fun. The situation is exactly the same. The turbulence is there. It's in
Hello there, everybody, and welcome to World Class Mindset. And my name is Coach Giggs, as many of you know. And if you aren't a member of the Daily Locker Room, I want to encourage you to do that. At the end of this clip, there'll be an opportunity for you to sign up. In the meantime, this is another extension of the Daily Locker Room. Many years ago when I started it, my purpose and goal was to share small little tidbits of information, insight, inspiring things that could cause people to want to go to a high level in their businesses. And so from there, it has now gone to where now we're in this format at the Daily Locker Room. We've added this as another feature of the Daily Locker Room. So each week, I'm going to bring you guys some very special people who have, in my opinion, that world-class mindset. Every one of these folks, most of them anyway, are either going to be entrepreneurs who built their businesses from the ground up or took it over and took it to another level, or it could be those of us at my great company, American Income Life, who are in sales and sales management, and those owners who build these wonderful agencies. So I'd like to get right down to it. My guest today is Paul Errigo. Paulie, good to see you, bro.
How you doing, Eric? Good to be here. I appreciate the invitation.
Absolutely, Paulie. So for those of you who don't know, which you probably don't, who Paul Errigo is, he happens to be becoming a very dear friend of mine. I met him through another friend. And as I learned more about him, he began to share with me his journey in life. And without a doubt, his background and everything he's done has been to build all kinds of small companies. And now some of them are probably going to be turning into large companies, if I'm not mistaken, Paulie boy, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, we've been blessed enough. I've built and sold, 2 7-figure companies already. We're working on a few more right now. We have, I think, 4 or 5 that are active. So entrepreneurism is in my blood, no doubt.
So let me start by asking you, what core mindset have you relied on the most through your time when you founded these companies, as you're building them, and then obviously some of them whereby which you actually sold them? What is the core mindset that you've had that you think has allowed you to succeed in this endeavor?
Great question. There are a lot of things that come into play, when it's entrepreneurialism. A couple of things that come to mind is vision. You have to have a real good vision of who you are, where you want to go, where you're at, have a good, grounding for that. I think it takes courage. I'll use the word balls. You got to have balls to be an entrepreneur. I mean, period, end of story. You cannot be afraid to fail. You can't really care about what other people think. You got to be able to take a risk and know that you're going to fall on your face sometimes. You pick yourself up and keep on going. I'm sure everybody knows that type of attitude. Perseverance, never give up. You can't give up. You got to keep on trying, and that's important. You have to have confidence in yourself. You just can't, again, care what other people think. You got to have your vision and follow it with your plan. And leadership is key. You have to be able to build and lead an organization, and other people have to follow you. They have to believe in your dream. They have to believe in your vision. And, you want to get the right people on the bus, but it doesn't matter how good of people are that are on the bus. If they do not believe in the CEO or ownership's vision, they're not going to be very effective, and you're not going to build a good company. But a key factor for me in my life across the board is having a vision board. Every single year, like clockwork, I build a vision board. My children build vision boards. There's nothing more important. You have to see it and believe it, So, and a lot of those things are materialistic, but when you're talking about building a company, you got to know and see and believe, your vision is, I wanted this company to be successful by what measure? You want to have X amount of employees. You want to be, the number one, company in this space or in this area. And you create a mission statement, which is really, forms your vision.
Right.
And you have to ingrain it into every single person in that company. You guys need to, or we need to, repeat it, believe it, have it ingrained into every single staff member, an employee, or team member, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
But it's important that that vision is communicated well throughout the organization.
Wow, relationships. How critical are the relationships that you're building with your key people around you? Because I've always believed that you can't do anything alone. People say I'm self-made. I immediately say to myself, well, you ain't made much if it's just you. You have to build relationships with key people. How do you go about doing that, Paulie?
So relationships are really the cornerstone of everything I do in my life. I mean, whether it's personal, family, business, friendships. I mean, you know me for a while now, right? Relationships are paramount and key, and employees or staff members or business partners are no different, So when it comes to relationships, I'm considered, or I've been told, I'm somewhat of a relationships expert in business. Prior companies of mine, my executives have told me, you should take the title of Chief Relationship Officer. The idea is I want to have a great relationship with everyone that's in my life.
So, Paulie, with that, what characteristics then do you look for when you're deciding these relationships and building them? What are you looking for in them?
I believe that everybody has good qualities in them, right? And you could bring out, now, of course, you got your C, D, E, and F players, and they're never going to, produce to be A players. But, what I'm really looking for is people that are willing to learn. So a lot of my success, and I think of any successful person, is the willingness to, continuing education is everything. You have to always be willing to learn. If I don't care how smart somebody is, I'm sure if you interviewed Elon Musk today, Elon Musk would say, "Oh, I'm still learning. I'm still taking classes. I'm reading, books. I'm taking seminars." So one of the key factors for me when we're interviewing for any position, right down, I mean, I don't call it low level, low to high level, is what do you do on your off time to continue your education? I don't care how many PhDs and master's degrees you got in business or accounting. What do you do for continuing education? And technology, you know how it is today. I mean, you could have been the greatest CEO 5 or 10 years ago. If you didn't learn how to use and embrace technology today, you're a dinosaur and you can't function in today's society. So one of the biggest things for a relationship is I love people who are like sponges. They want to learn. I don't care what people can do. I look at all kinds of resumes. Hey, I did this. I was vice president of that. I sold here. I sold there. I don't care what you can do. I want to know what you will do, right? Just because you had done that at some point in your career, great, you did this. And I don't want somebody who's sitting on their, on their laurels and what they had done in the past. One of the greatest questions during an interview, you talk about characteristics that you're looking for from relationship, is I'm not a big fan when people want to know, how much is the salary? How much are you going to pay me? The greatest interview I ever had was with a sales guy who was making $500,000 a year. We had a job posting for 50 or 60,000, whatever it was. And he shows up. I look at this guy's resume. He's making $500,000. I won't go through the whole story, but he sits down. I go, "Why are you here? You're very overqualified. This is an entry-level position." He goes, "I don't care about the salary. You tell me how I can make at least $300,000 a year on a commission structure you're going to set up in this business. I'll tell you what I need to pay my mortgage and cover my bills." I hired that guy on the spot, and he achieved it. He broke $350,000 in year 2, and went on and made over $500,000. And he was successful until we sold the business back in 2012. He was awesome. Another characteristic that I think is important, and it all ties together. It's almost the same person, if you will. If you're talking about building a company, when it comes to sales, I'm a salesperson by heart. I mean,
Everybody sells, Paul, even if they don't sell for a living, right?
I know, and I know the business that you're in, So, salespeople are key. They make the world go round. I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent here, but, when I was in college, I mastered, my major was in marketing and psychology. I had a dual major. And I wanted to go into marketing, and for old people, bosom buddies with Tom Hanks. I wanted to make commercials and all that type of stuff. And I had a professor in St. John's University that told me, why would you want to do that? Go into sales, because it's the only profession where you control your income, your future, your time, how much you want to work. You'll get out what you put in. And those are the type of things that you want to do. And he turned me on to a lot of sales, things like Tom Hopkins. We've had that conversation. One of the great old sales trainers. He was,
Paulie, he was one of my first key mentors, was Tom Hopkins. I got a ton of books from him. I love that. You also mentioned another mentor of mine, Brian Tracy. What did you get out of him, Paulie? He was awesome.
So Brian Tracy had a huge influence in my life. He had said, if you're in sales and you're a salesperson, you are the president and CEO of your own personal services corporation. And that struck me. It doesn't matter what company you're working for, what industry that you're in. I'm the president and CEO of Paul Errigo Enterprises, and I control how much money I make, when I work, what type of lifestyle I want to live. Do I want to do business on a golf course? Do I want to do business at dinner? Do I want to travel? And I really took advantage of that seminar, or those words. And I encourage any person in sales that if you're not taking it seriously, that you don't work for a company, you work for yourself, and you are the president and CEO of your own company, and you need to build relationships, and you need to create a network over the course of your life. And once you do that, you build this network that great salespeople, after a few years, never have to cold call again. And that's what everybody is afraid of, or the fear is, hey, I don't want to cold call. Yes. I'm at a point in my life where I can start. I just did. I started a new company less than 2 years ago. I don't think we've made one phone call. We've already built a successful business, and it's all based on prior relationships, people that have done business with me in the past, because we've instilled trust, confidence, and trusting, long-lasting relationships. So cold calling for me is a thing of the past. Obviously, new salespeople have to do it, but ultimately, when you get to a certain level, and it forms all sides, employees, building a staff, building team. Anyway, building.
Obviously had done business with or had relationships with people in prior companies, and now you started another one, and you brought those people in. In my business, we start people out with a lead. We give them a third-party lead, but then our goal is to train and teach them that the best lead is a referred lead, somebody who you've already taken care of, won them over, they like you, they trust you, they believe in what you sold. Now they'll give you others. How important of a factor is relationship? Now, we talk about the entrepreneurial mindset. How important, and what would you say about referrals and relationship building? How important is it in the building of your company?
I would say, without question, extremely paramount. The number one most important feature. And it really is one thing, right? You're not going to get a referral unless you build a relationship with somebody, right? It's about trust. People want to do, and I think here's the key of it all. People want to do business with their friends, period. End of story. I used to travel around the country. I was on a plane 2, 3, sometimes 4 or 5 times a week for almost 20 years. I was away from my family, and I'm spending more time with people I do business with than my own family, friends, and people I'd rather hang out with. And I can only imagine how miserable it must be for somebody to say, "Oh, I got to go to dinner with Eric Giglione tonight. Yeah, sorry." I look forward to seeing my.
Wait a minute, Paulie. I would think anyone would want to come to dinner. You've been to dinner with me.
That's what I said. I would never want to do that. I would never want to do that. So every time we see each other, I look forward to every person I see in business. And going back to relationship, I make friends and treat my customers as if they're my family. I always did. And just a couple of examples, and I'll get to the referral piece, is I sold the business back in 2010 or 11, whatever it was. We had 180 people, 3 offices. We had an office in India offshore. And I still just went to the bat mitzvah of the CFO of Gold's Gym International's daughter 10 or 12 years later. I'm still best friends. And I was the best man at the senior credit officer for GMAC Finance. And I haven't done business with these people in over 10 years. I got married again. My point is, relationships are everything. And no matter how small or big a customer is, they want to give business and see their friends succeed. So when you make that phone call and I say, hey, Eric, do me a favor. I want to increase my business. Do you have 3 people? And the systems, okay? We always ask people for 3 referrals. You got to have 3 people that can benefit from our services. Can you introduce? I got my pen out. I need you to do it right now. Can you give me 3 right now? The last thing I ever talk about is business, right? I don't want to talk about business. I want to say, how are you? How many kids do you have? Oh, do you like the Mets? I'm a big Ranger fan. Do you like hockey? Whatever it is, and you talk. There's times when I leave sales calls and never even mention business. And at the end, it got people going, well, are we going to talk about whatever service? I'm like, great, I'm glad you asked. All right, let's get into that. Meanwhile, I already have the next meeting with them set up, go to a hockey game, go to dinner, get personal with them, So it's referrals is so natural and so easy. And so many inexperienced salespeople are afraid. They'd rather make a cold call than ask for a referral. When you ask for referrals and you start building referrals, ask for 3 referrals. If you get 3, then you start getting 3 from them, 3 from them, 1 from them, 2 from them. You'll never have to cold call again. And and everybody in sales knows there is no higher closing ratio than closing a referral call.
How do you handle setbacks, things that don't go according to plan? What kind of mindset do you have, and do you feel it's needed to overcome these obstacles?
So that's a great question. And the reason why I say that is everybody thinks you look at these big successful people, and I'm not saying that I'm somebody to look up to as I'm successful or anything, but setbacks are part of growth. And in my mind, I hate to even say it, but you have to have a thick skin. And I've had some serious setbacks, and you have to take them as a learning experience. And just a quick story, I'll never forget this one time, talk about setbacks. I was $1.6 million upside down in one of my businesses. I thought we were going to lose everything. We had SBA loans. My ex-partner was running with the Bulls in the middle of a divorce, literally, not figuratively. He disappeared. He was gone, running the entire operation. And long story short is, it was Christmas time. I'm sitting in a chair, and my wife walks into my great room, and she sees me, and I got a tear coming down my eye, like the Indian with the with the pollution. And she goes, "Oh my God, what's wrong?" And I said, "I think we're going to lose the house. My business is shot, and I think we're going to lose the house." And I was, miserable for a while. I was nervous. It was horrible. And then I belong to an organization called EO, Entrepreneurs Organization. So we meet with a bunch of guys, and I won't go into the whole organization, but it has been a key factor in my career, my growth, my businesses, and everything. You learn from experience of others. These guys give me experience, and I'm thinking there's no way out. And I was young in business at the time. There's no way out. I don't know what it is, but I dug myself out. There's always an answer. It's just never give up. There's always ways. There's always solutions. It's never as bad as you think. And it comes back to the point of this entire topic of this podcast of your mindset. If your mindset is, wow, I got this crazy challenge, small, bigger, and different, figure it out. Figure it out. Every single challenge and setback is an opportunity to grow and educate yourself. So you almost have to, in business, I'm at the point where I look forward almost to the valley so we can learn something. I now am at a point where I have presidents, like in my energy company, I have a president, and he's young, he's 34 years old. And he just wants to, kind of do this. But you do this, you're going to fall off the cliff. Everybody knows that. You got to go and plateau. And I love when there's a mistake, and I let him make mistakes. I give a couple of words of advice. But, that was one challenge that we turned around, and I ended up turning that company around and sold it for a hefty profit. I took a few years off from business before I started, a different business. So we went from being bankrupt, crying in a room to kind of turning it around.
Wow.
And then you have adversity. You have to look at it as, this is awesome. I'm going to have an opportunity to learn here. I have to do a little bit of digging. I got to check my resources and my network from relationships that you've built. Reach out to people like your Coach Gigs, right? So, check with a mentor, start reading, pick up the phone, start speaking to people. What have you done when you are in this situation? And it doesn't matter whether it's business or personal. And, I have a strong faith in God, and God rules, my life, and, everything is, I'm a big fan of, health. You have to be healthy. And when I say health, it's mind, body,
Mind, body,
spirit.
spirit. There it is. I knew it was
It's
coming.
all health, and and God is first, family is second, business is third. But if you're not healthy in all of those areas, you're not going to be healthy enough to overcome challenges. And
we all are the sum total of the 5 people closest to us. So if you're hanging around 5 millionaires, eventually you'll be the 6th. But concomitantly, if you're hanging around 5 idiots, you're going to be the 6th one. So, right, the law of attraction works in every way. You associate with winners, right? You become a winner. So I love what you've done. Paulie, one more question, and if there's anything that you feel we haven't covered, because once again, and you know this, Paulie, we become good friends now. This whole podcast is all about growing, developing a world-class mindset. And I know for you, it took all these tragedies, ups and downs, to allow you and to give you that opportunity. But I got to ask you, because and then anything you finish with, how much of an entrepreneur's success, a sales leader's success, is attributable to their mindset versus other factors?
So there's a saying, I'd rather be lucky than good, right? So that's out there. However, the people that are lucky and actually hit it have a great mindset. It's because they're out there swinging and taking at bats and taking chances and taking risks. So you could be the smartest person in the world. You could, and you can apply everything from masters in economics and triple degree in Harvard business. If you do not have the mindset to achieve, to have a positive outlook, to just be steadfast, to set goals, achieve the goals. If it isn't, if you can't measure it, it isn't worth doing type of attitude. And you're going to fail. I mean, there's no 2 ways about it. But you have to have, to answer your question, I guess, as an entrepreneur, if you don't have a healthy, aggressive, positive mindset, and the mindset to everything is an opportunity to learn and achieve and grow, you have to have a competitive nature. That's also a mindset, right? You have to want to win, right? Because this is a game. This isn't really important. The only thing that's important is your health, right? And your family. But I love winning. And you know better than, and certainly the audience doesn't know, but I still play a ton of sports. I'm highly competitive, everything that I do, including business, fair competition. I don't deviate. I don't cheat. I don't lie. I don't steal. I have, again, a good moral compass, and which has built my my reputation in business. But it's all about the mindset, and even that is part of a mindset, right? I'm going to build a company, or myself, my personal reputation. I guard it with my life, knowing that no one can ever point a finger, and that's my mindset. I'm not going to win deceptively. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to apply myself. I'm going to continue to learn, continue to educate. So your mindset is everything, because I'll just give you this from a mindset, just one quick story. So I told you I was on a plane all the time, and this is kind of a popular story, but I've lived it, where we were in some crazy turbulence in a very small airplane one time, and it was unbelievable. You're worried about hitting the ceiling. You're worried that the plane is going to go down. So you got people grasping the chair and almost crying, and you hear some little kid was in 2 seats behind going, wee, wee, having fun. The situation is exactly the same. The turbulence is there. It's in a storm. One person is afraid that they're going to die, and the other one is having the ride of their life. So the roller coaster.
How old was this kid? I want to be that kid. What was it? How old? Must have been a 7-8-year-old, right? He had no idea. He's just having a ball.
It's a 7-year-old, a 7 or 8-year-old. I don't know how old, but yeah, it was. The story is this.
That is a great story. Goals. How important are goals when it comes to building your business and doing what you do? How important is it?
Goals is another extremely vital, necessary, vital component of success. There's no 2 ways about it. Not only do I, every year, there's like clockwork, and I adjust it, and I've gone through programs, and I actually have sales training. I train my salespeople on setting goals, and I go business and personal. It all kind of intertwines. It's what's your goals in life. So every single year, and that leads to my vision board. So I take my goals and I put them on the vision board. But if you don't have goals, you don't have a target. If you don't have a target, you got nothing to work for or achieve for. You got to be able to, okay, what are your business goals? Hey, I want to build this company. I want to do this, but why? Why? What?
Why?
Why?
Right? The why.
You always got to ask why. And why do I want to make $100 million? Why do I want to build a company with 100 employees? Why do I want to do this? Why? Well, I don't know. Because on my vision board, I want to have a house on the beach or by the beach. I got it. I want to have a nice
By the
car.
way, for those of you listening, he does have a house on the beach, quite a few toys on top of it, Paulie. I'm sorry, keep going.
No,
Yes,
that's okay.
that's the why, right? That you got to have
that's
the why.
And I'll never forget. I don't know if it was Brian Tracy or Tom or Zig. I don't know who it was, but they said, when you write your goals, just keep writing them out and then take your top 5. And out of those top 5, write a paragraph of why you want them. I'll never forget back then. I think it was a Cadillac. I forget which one it was. I'm going back into the 90s.
Caddo, huh? You wanted a Caddo?
Yeah, I did. And why do I want a nice car? I started my first company when I was 24 years old. And, why do I want a nice car? Because I want to feel good for myself and I want people to see that I'm successful. But that was my why. Now my whys have changed a little bit.
Sure.
But goals are, and I taught my children, your house, and I have family goals. How much time I want to spend with my nieces and nephews. And, one of my goals is to attend one Little League, soccer, baseball, choir, whatever, of every one of my nieces and nephews. And I have a lot of them, but I literally have I check off a box when I attend one of their events, because if you don't, time just passes by, you blink your eye and you miss out on life.
Yes. Congratulations to you. Your amazing wife, Gina, who I know is another rock behind you. We didn't even touch on the importance of getting support at home as an entrepreneur, but I know your wife and I know how much she has supported you and backed you. And without her, you probably never would have been able to do what you do. That's a big factor. I found we have some great people, but they're not getting that support at home. And, it's very difficult. So maybe we'll touch on that in another podcast, the power of your family and the importance, right, of having them behind you. But nonetheless, Paulie, thank you so much for coming on World Class Mindset. And for those of you that just listen, you're probably seeing on your screen now a QR code. I'd like for you to click on it and give me here at the locker room some advice or tips on what you think we could have done better or different. And of course, what you saw that you liked, so we can keep bringing what you like and improving on the things that you feel we can do better. Thank you again, all of you, for being here. And Paulie, thank you so much for being an incredible guest and a great friend. Thank you so much, Paulie. God bless.
Thanks for having me, Eric. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you.